Hey, it's Holly. In today's video, I don't know how we haven't done this yet, but I'm going to be showing you a compare and contrast of the original 1989 Partytime Surprise with the Keepsake Collection version. Maybe it's because I didn't have this one totally complete until recently. I don't know. But here we are. So I've got both of them here, and we're going to look through what's different between the original and the new one. I also want to just address the fact I got a question fairly recently on my current 2022 Keepsake Collection video, and the question was, are you going to do a video comparing Mermaid Dreams with the original? There isn't an original. That one is a new release. So this is one, much like Starlight Castle or the Royal Bracelet, where we got an update. But the newest one, Mermaid Dreams, is an original, so nothing to show there. So anyway, this one we do. So without any further ado, let's get started. So in today's video, we are going to be looking at both the 1989 Partytime Surprise Compact and the 2019. It says 18 on here, but I believe it came out in 2019. And this is the Keepsake Collection version of this. So these two compacts are basically the same thing. It's similar to what we've been seeing with the I don't want to say reprint, but reissue of Starlight Castle, done in new colors and a new style, just like we've seen with the Royal Bracelet in the Royal Jewelry Keepsake Collection from 2022. And of course, the collection in 2022 also included some new items that didn't exist before, including the ring case and the earrings and the, of course, Mermaid Dreams compact. However, we've got these two today to compare, and I can't believe I haven't shown this yet, but I looked through and it does not appear that I have. So here we are, and I think it's because I did not have the skirt for this one originally. Now I do, so yay. So I'm going to do this side by side because I want to be able to show exactly what all the differences look like. So I'm just going to go ahead and open them both up, and then we will see from a distance what that color difference looks like. But also I think it's important that we look at each one individually as well. Now this one, of course, of the things that I still have in storage, I did recently get this one new in package. And to be clear, I had originally purchased this one new in package as a gift for my daughter, and then I basically stole it back when I started recollecting. So about, I guess, 2 years later after that. So I got another one that's new in package that unfortunately was a little bit more, but I got a good deal on it. And so I do have one that's sealed somewhere in storage still. But we've got these to check out. So right off the bat, you can see the major color differences. The newer Keepsake Collection set is a lot brighter, and this is consistent with what we've seen in the Keepsake Collection going forward. So the Starlight Castle remake was also very heavy in the purple and hot pink, whereas the older sets obviously had more of a pastel vibe to them. And then if you look to the re-release of the Royal Bracelet, we're seeing that same thing, a lot more bright, saturated colors rather than these muted pastels. So that's one thing that I have kind of feelings about, because I do love the aesthetic of the original sets, but of course they're not trying to make it exact, they're trying to reimagine them a bit, so fair enough. So let's have a look at the original. So up top, you have, hey, there's a toilet. You have a bedroom scene, and the whole upstairs, including the bathroom, is decorated with birthday celebration banners, streamers, balloons, all of that. Then below there's the party scene. So there is a DJ booth with a microphone and some speakers behind. You can see they made good use of the stickers again in this compact. So something that they often would do back in the earlier compacts, this one being in 1989, the first year, they brought color in using stickers so that they didn't have to use as much paint. But I will say, fairly impressive paint palette for this one, because if we look at what's painted, we've got this plastic is actually the original pink plastic, but this periwinkle color, this purpley color blue, is painted. Yellow is painted. The darker pink is painted, and there's also green and silver paint and white paint. So that's a lot of different colors for an original Polly Pocket set. We just have to recognize that. Some of the sets didn't have more than 2 or 3 paint colors. So they really went all out on this. The dance floor here spins, so you can spin it and have the figures dance. And then down below, we have the party area where people can hang out and have cake. So there is a cake here. There is a present, we'll come back to that. Gifts and cards along the side, and I love how they illustrated the cards as just these open V's. Some chairs around the table. There's so much food on the table. There's also some food on the side, and then at the front, more snacks, more cards, more gifts, a tiny little door that opens and closes, and then inside there is a present that you can open up. So before we get to all of the figures, let's have a look at this one. So very similar in terms of what we're looking at here. You can see that they did paint the same things. They also used similar stickers, but they redesigned them. And again, fair enough. But in terms of what's painted, it does look identical in terms of what they chose to paint and what was molded out of plastic. I do find it interesting that the dance floor on this one is almost identical to the color of the plastic that was used in the background previously, but the stickers are just a little bit brighter. Otherwise, there's not a ton different there. They do have some gold accents, and they used it all the way from the mirror to the toilet handle, which is cute. And then down below, again, pretty much anywhere you saw silver, it's now gold. And then they've brought gold into the places that you also saw some yellow previously. So looking at this, I believe these chairs are plastic. Yeah, the chairs and the table, actually all the way down to these plates, this is all plastic. So none of this is actually painted. It's all plastic. That's really interesting. So no paint there. The door is not painted. These are individual, like they're actually circles of plastic. I don't know if that's picking up, but they're actually separate. So it's like been punched through. Very interesting. So that's neat, because if you look at the original one, this is all molded and then painted. Like this is all painted. Even these chairs, it's all enamel painted. The door is painted. The mat's painted. Everything's painted. Not here. So in the bottom, if we look at what is actually painted, it's basically the bow, this bow, that's it, the bows. Maybe this book, nope, that book is also just the plastic. So that's interesting. That's really interesting. I hadn't noticed that before. Inside looks very similar for the present. The other one had like air holes. I don't know, maybe so. The present wouldn't suffocate, I'm not sure, but let's have a look at the figures. So we'll start with the original figures. So of course this set came with Polly. It came with 1 figure and then 2 accessories. So there she is. So Polly is wearing a short pink top. She has curly hair which I always associate with Polyville, but you can see this is 1989, so it's a more original set. Her foot is up in a almost sort of curtsy-like position. She has a silver bow in her hair and silver shoes. Now, Polly also has a skirt that comes with her, so this is one of the sets where the skirt really makes sense to me because it then becomes a beautiful party dress. So that's item 1 and 2. And then the third item is what is meant to be inside the gift box, and this is a bear. Now, this bear is not to be confused with other bears that you can get in some of these vintage Polly Pocket sets. I'll show you a few examples of that in a second. But the bear is meant to be in the present. And then, of course, Polly has 3 places she can stand in the set. So 2 places on the floor. She can also sit in the chairs. And she can go onto the dance floor. Her skirt's falling down. Relatable. And then she spins. Okay. So if I show you from my bin of extra parts, so in this bin I've got, let's see what I've got in here. This bear. I don't know that I have the other one in here, but I think I do have one in this room, so bear with me, ha ha ha, no pun intended. So this is the bear from Polly's Toyland, which is a very hard to find 1995 compact. Compact is not the word I'm looking for. The Enchanted Storybook Collection. So it's one of the storybooks, the tiny ones that has a key on the front. I have this set complete without the key, so I'm missing the key, but have all the figures in. I do have that set. But this is the bear that comes with it. And to give you an example of the other bear, just so you can see the difference between them, the other one is from 1992. So that one would be, hold on, there it is. If we look into the stamper set, so the babysitting stamper it's often referred to, that one also has a bear. Okay, so this is one from the baby stampin' set. That's the one from Partytime Surprise, and then we'll bring back in the Polly's Toyland. So as you can see, they're all different. They're very different. So it's easy to see a yellow bear and think, oh, I know what that's from, but they made 3. As far as I know, it's 3. There might be more, but as far as I know, it's the 3. So that's interesting. And if we now compare the bear from the other set, here is the Keepsake Collection one. Very similar. It has more of a gold sheen to it. That's the color of the actual plastic, whereas this one, the yellow is painted along with the details. On this one, the plastic is actually that color, and then the pink is the only added color there. Otherwise, they look very similar. This one is maybe a little bit smoother in its molding, but very similar, same size. All of that looks the same. And if we compare the Polly figures, what did I do with Polly? Oh, there she is. There we go. So here's the original, and then here is the updated one. So you've probably heard my rant about the updated figures for the Keepsake Collection. In the original Polly Pockets, what they would do is they would mold the figure out of plastic with the shape, or sorry, the skin tone they were looking for. So they would figure out the skin tone first, and then they would paint everything else on. I'm trying to see if I have an example of a different skin tone in my extras bin? Not really. There was some diversity, but not a ton of it, if we're being truthful here. I do not see one in here. But, you know, if there was, for the ones that were a different skin tone, that would be the color of the actual plastic. So with these newer Keepsake ones, unfortunately, what they did was they painted the entire figure, so that skin color that you're seeing there is actually paint, and it kind of cheapens the look of the figure. And just in an effort to get you a really nice clear shot here, I'm just gonna pull these skirts off so that they're out of the way. So it's just, I find it really cheapens the look of it because it has this matte finish in a way that's not ideal. Like, it looks really fake, whereas here the skin has like a glow to it. They also painted her face very small in comparison. So she looks like she doesn't have much of a neck. The paint job is not great. You can see by looking at this that there's all sorts of issues with it, but it's not great. So I was a bit disappointed with this figure, to be honest. Otherwise, I do think the set itself is very nice, and I am impressed actually looking at it. Now again, as we go through this, at the fact that they were able to achieve this just with the plastics. I'm sure from a manufacturing standpoint, the technology probably just would have been too expensive to do that back in 1989, and it's probably a lot of commitment. But when they're just reprinting a bunch of these for the Keepsake Collection, I guess that was worth it for them. So those are the two sets. So tell me, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about the updated one versus the older one? I always lean on the side of the older one, but I will say I like the case. I like the shiny case. I think, as Ludo said the other day, just covering up mistakes with glitter, but this one's quite nice. It's really quite nice. And I am really impressed by the plastic in here. I wish the figure was nicer, but I think they did justice to the original. I think it's a nice update, and I don't hate it. So, of course, I love this one, but I feel like this one is visually quite appealing and has more contrast to it. So kind of leaning on this one here, the newer one here. So let me know in the comments, what's your favorite thing about this? Which one do you prefer? I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, I mean, honestly, they're both great. I think they did a great job with this. I think the case is super cute. I'm very happy with this case. Of course, the original is a classic, but I think they did justice to the new one. My only real downside with the new one for me personally is I don't love the figure. I feel like the figures are cheap now. And I really like these old figures. So unfortunately, that part sucks for me, but the rest of it's great. I am happy with this, and I think they're both great, but I do really like the contrast of this one. I think when you open it up, just you're able to see some more differentiation versus when you open up this one, it does feel very green, and that's just not as party. So that's why for me, I think I'm leaning toward the Keepsake, which is not usually the way I go, but here we are. So not much else new and exciting going on. Trying to think of anything, literally anything else that I have to tell you. I can't think of anything. It's been a fairly quiet week, which is good and needed, and we're here for it. So if you have not hit the subscribe button yet, please do that. I come out with new videos every Monday and Thursday. And please like and comment on this video. All of that stuff is free to do, and it really helps out the channel and helps the algorithm. And I appreciate those of you that do that for me. But also, if you're on social media, you can come follow along there too. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Just look up Pocket Vintage Toys. That's the best way to connect with me outside of YouTube. But that's it for me for today. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.